Lou and replied bravely, blinking back tears. It is perfectly all right. I am extremely sorry if I told you something I was not supposed to tell you. You know, about the Paradise Club? No, it is quite all right. Goodbye, Sergeant Carter. Lou and hung up the phone slowly, a fire igniting in her previously gentle spirit. If Gomer-Pyle wanted to play games, two could play at that game. She walked back into the living room. A bright, artificial smile pasted on her face. Well, what would you like to do tonight? Oh. Monroe looked up from the television, surprised by the sudden change in her demeanor. If you do not have any place special in mind, I have a suggestion. Sure, baby, what is it? Let us go out. Meanwhile, at the loud, dimly lit Paradise Club, Gomer was experiencing the worst evening of his life. He sat rigidly at a small, round table, staring blankly ahead. Across from him sat Natalie, a brassy, loud-talking woman with bright makeup and endless stories. Oh, yeah. Natalie laughed loudly, slapping the table. Before your friend Sergeant Carter got hung up on this bunny friend of his. We used to have some really great times together. And what a wild sense of humor, let me tell you. Every single time he used to pick me up at my apartment. He used to drag his foot all the way down the hall, like out of one of them horror movies. Isn't that just too much? I mean, for a rigid sergeant, he was really funny. Gomer simply blinked, his mind miles away, entirely focused on Lou and, oh boy, you sure do not talk much, do you, honey? Natalie observed, leaning across the table. What, ma'am? Gomer asked politely, startled out of his sad reverie. You are still going with the ma'am. Huh? It is Natalie, she corrected him. Natalie, Gomer repeated faithfully. I am truly sorry. I guess I just was not thinking, Natalie. A tired waiter approached their table. Here you go, old pal. Old buddy, Natalie ordered loudly. Now bring us two of your absolute best drinks. My, this is some wild place tonight. Do you come in here often? Huh? Oh, no. Just now and then, Gomer murmured, looking utterly miserable. Naturally, I did not begrudge Vince Carter anything, Natalie continued, completely ignoring Gomer's lack of interest. I mean, if he wants to go out with one of those brassy dames, I would say all the more power to him. But for instance, tonight, he wanted me to do him a huge favor, so I said, sure. You know exactly what I mean. What is the matter? Are you having trouble getting the waiter? Hey, Charlie, will you come over here when you finally get a minute? Natalie sighed, patting her hair. I think I will just go check the powder room right now. Why do you not order me a beer? That is, if you do not mind sparing a few precious words. Yes, ma'am. Natalie, Gomer corrected himself again. Terrific. You are really making major headway, Natalie muttered sarcastically as she stood up and walked away, just as Natalie vanished into the crowd. Lou and Monroe walked through the front doors of the Paradise Club. Monroe was beaming, thinking he had won the grand prize, while Lou frantically scanned the room. Hey, Lou and... I do not know exactly how to say this. Not being as smooth with words as I am with a football, but Monroe started trying to create a romantic moment. If you will excuse me, Monroe, if you do not mind, Lou interrupted abruptly, catching sight of the powder room sign. I just got this terrible feeling that my lipstick is on crooked. I will be right back. Sure thing, Monroe sighed, watching her walk away. What do I have in store for me? In the brightly lit ladies' powder room, Lou stood in front of the mirror, taking deep breaths. Natalie was standing next to her, fixing her heavy eye makeup. Excuse me, Natalie said to a passing attendant. You are my guest. She turned her attention to Lou and... Oh, I do not mean to be forward or anything, but about that big Marine you are with... What is his exact name? Why? Lou asked cautiously, recognizing the description. Oh, nothing. It is just that, well, he looks so incredibly familiar to me. A whole lot like somebody I know. Tortured. That is exactly what he looks like. Tortured. Oh, Lou breathed softly, her heart doing a tiny flutter. What do you mean by that? Well, I do not even know this guy at all, Natalie complained, happy to have an audience. I am just sitting home entirely alone, minding my own personal business, when who should call but this guy's sergeant. I mean, he is an old friend, right? So I will do him a simple favor. His buddy needs cheering up, so I will go out with him. You know exactly how it is. I do not know this guy from Adam, but I figure maybe I will get lucky tonight. Some lucky. Thousands of Marines on this entire base. And I happen to get a guy whose one big talent in life is blinking. Blinking and staring into empty space. And you know exactly why? Because he is agonizingly tortured. That is why. I mean, some terrible dame threw him over, and here he is just blinking and staring. You know something, sister? Lewin smiled radiantly, feeling a sudden, immense surge of joy and relief. You are pretty nosy, but I am very glad you are. Lewin marched out of the powder room, leaving a completely confused Natalie behind. She walked straight out to the dance floor, zeroing in on Gomer, who was standing awkwardly alone near his table. "Come on, Gomer. Let us dance," Lewin announced, grabbing his hand tightly. "I really do not feel like it," Gomer mumbled, too miserable to even look up and see who was talking to him. "Oh, come on now," Lewin insisted softly, pulling him toward the music. "Now, promise me you will not faint, or hang on to your hat. Here it comes." Gomer finally looked up, and his jaw dropped open in pure shock. "Lewin? Oh, Monroe, let us dance first," Lewin called out over his shoulder as Monroe approached them. "Boy, Lewin, you sure know exactly how to build up the suspense," Monroe grumbled, looking annoyed. "I will give you that much." "Hey, yeah. Now that is what I call a beat," Natalie yelled over the music, reappearing and trying to get Gomer's attention. "Go, go, go." Lewin pulled Gomer close, her eyes flashing with a mixture of anger and deep affection. "Gomer-Pyle, you just ought to be deeply ashamed of yourself. I am sure sorry to be here with that other lady." Gomer apologized sincerely, looking down at his feet, "but it really was not my idea at all. And besides all that, I did not want to stand in the way of your absolute happiness. Monroe made it pretty clear to me today." "Made what pretty clear?" Lewin demanded, her hands on her hips. "What are you talking about?" "He even showed me the diamond ring," Gomer explained sadly. "Do you mean to sincerely say that Monroe told you that we were officially engaged?" Lewin gasped in horror. "You mean you are not engaged to him?" Gomer asked, hope suddenly rushing back into his chest like a tidal wave. "Oh, what a horrible, lying man he is," Lewin declared angrily. "And what a horrible man you are for believing him so easily. You mean you do not want to go write me a Dear John letter?" Gomer asked, a huge, radiant smile spreading across his face. "Gomer," Lewin whispered affectionately, stepping closer to him. "Excuse me," Lewin, Monroe growled, stepping between them with a dark scowl on his face. "Monroe," Lewin said, her voice dripping with ice. "Hey, Gomer, old pal," Monroe said menacingly. "You are here, too? Would you kindly step outside with me? There are a few serious words I deeply want to say to you." "Oh, no, Gomer," Lewin gasped, grabbing his arm protectively. "Please, Lewin, just wait right here," Gomer said calmly, entirely unafraid. "Outside where it is nice and totally private," Monroe demanded, cracking his knuckles, considering this is a highly personal matter. "Yeah, sure, after you," Gomer replied politely, gesturing toward the exit. "Gomer, what happened to you?" Lewin cried out. "What are you doing anyway?" "Lewin, just wait right here," Gomer repeated reassuringly. "Well, Gomer, where are you going? What is going to happen to me?" Lewin fretted as she watched the two men walk out the back door into the dark. Quiet alley behind the loud club. "Now then, what is it you want to discuss, friend?" Gomer asked mildly as they stood under a flickering street lamp. "This ain't private enough," Monroe muttered, glaring around. "Step back here into the deeper shadows of the alley. The primary reason I wanted complete privacy is I have got a major score to settle with you, and this is the only way I know how to properly handle it." Monroe raised his fists, preparing to strike the gentle Marine. But before he could even throw a single punch, Gomer stepped forward, stood up to his full, impressive height, and pointed a firm, deeply disappointed finger directly at Monroe's nose. Shame, shame, shame for telling two entirely different stories and causing all that terrible unhappiness. Gomer scolded him, his voice ringing with pure, righteous indignation and moral clarity. That was downright deceitful of you, Monroe E. Ford. Monroe froze, his fist dropping slightly, completely bewildered by the sudden, intense scolding. He had expected a physical brawl, not a severe moral dressing down from a man with a heart as pure as gold. But I will tell you one highly important thing, Gomer continued, his voice steady and full of confident love. Lou is my girl, and we are about to make the decision of a lifetime together. Just then, the heavy metal door swung open, and Lou rushed out into the alley, unable to wait inside any longer. "Oh, Gomer!" she cried out, throwing her arms happily around his neck. Realizing he was completely unhurt and had stood his ground with honor and decency. "Oh, my gosh!" Monroe muttered in utter defeat, realizing he had lost a battle on every single front. "Lou and—" Gomer smiled warmly, wrapping his strong arms safely around her